Animals are equipped with sometimes extraordinary instincts that defy human scientific explanation. Bloodhounds, as you may know, can track a scent for miles and miles and miles, even after the object of their hunt has been gone for days. Even with all of our police technology, there is no better tool for finding a missing person or hunting down a suspect on the run than this animal possessed of this extraordinary instinct of the nose. Migratory birds can fly thousands of miles over the open ocean to find exactly their nesting place, the place from which they hatched. Again, scientists have all sorts of guesses about how they do this, magnetic fields and scents, but we really don't know how. Yet it works. It carries these small, fragile birds across oceans to come home. Today, in our gospel, the gift of faith is likened to one of these extraordinary animal capacities. In this case, the capacity, the instinctual power of sheep to recognize the voice of their master. Ancient peoples, shepherding peoples, knew this. And contemporary science has confirmed this capacity in sheep not only to recognize the shepherd's voice, but even to distinguish between tones and emotional profiles in that voice. The bloodhound, the migratory bird, the sheep, know not how these instincts of theirs work. They can't explain it. Yet work those instincts do. And they work marvelously. In likening the gift of faith to the sheep's capacity to recognize their shepherd's voice, Jesus is teaching us that this supernatural gift that was infused into our souls when we were baptized, likewise defies our capacity to explain. How do you know it is God speaking to you through the Scriptures? How do you know the Catholic faith is true? You can give some reasons, yes. But ultimately it comes down to this gift, this instinct to hear the voice of your loving Creator echoing through the words of Scripture, echoing through the truth of the gospel. In that first reading, the apostles are preaching, and we are told that the crowd is cut to the heart. That's what happens when we catch that tone, that sound, by faith, of our true shepherd. We are moved at the depth of our being. And we know the one speaking to us through ordinary people, priests and bishops and friends, evangelists. We know that it is God speaking to us through them. And not only are hearts cut, they are broken open. And we begin to experience the love, the warm presence of the shepherd of our souls. Some people recoil at the image of the Good Shepherd and his sheep. They do not want to be counted among a flock. They do not want to be likened to a herd animal. Yet, each and every one of us, like a sheep, needs and desires someone to lead us to happiness. And when we wander away from the flock of Christ, we find ourselves in other flocks led by other shepherds who lead us not to green pastures, but to sadness and desolation. I don't need to tell you that there are many voices in our world claiming to be shepherds, claiming to lead us to happiness. It can be confusing. It can be intimidating. We can easily get lost. But that is where the good news of today's gospel breaks through. You and I, because of what God did to our souls when we were baptized, have the capacity, the supernatural instinct to cut through the noise, to cut through the false voices, and hear and respond to the one who truly knows us, the one who truly loves us, and is speaking to us always, if only we have ears and hearts to listen. Sheep live this instinct of recognition most fully when they are together. And so it is that when we come together as a flock under Christ the Shepherd, our ears are opened. That instinct comes alive, and we know beyond our capacity to explain that we are safe and that we are being led little by little to some place good. Brothers and sisters, we are that flock, and Christ is our shepherd, and he is leading us to heaven. If only we have ears to hear, if only we trust the instinct of faith he has breathed into our souls. In our gospel, we hear that the Lord not only calls us corporately as a flock, as a group, he calls us each by name. Yes, as a flock, we have the same destination, heaven. But the way we get there as members of the flock is specific to you as an individual. And that specificity and that plan for you is what we call a vocation, a calling. And it's only by the instinct of faith that we hear it. We find what we are meant to do in life not by taking personality tests, not by going to a career counselor, but by listening to the one who loves us and leads us, and whose plan and path is better than anything we could dream up on our own. That master, that shepherd, speaks to you tonight. He speaks to you in this place as members of his flock. May we trust our instincts, and like the bloodhound on the scent, or the migratory bird flying home, reach our destination by this power we cannot explain, but a power we can trust because it leads us home.